How prepared are you for tomorrow, next week, next month, to stand, fight and protect your loved ones and neighbours? Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Lots has happened during recent weeks, months and years, and we've witnessed illegal immigration reaching record levels, with successive governments impotent in the actions needed to arrest, detain and deport the insurgency of young men of war-fighting age invading our shores and committing crimes, some of which have been horrific. We've witnessed two-tier socialist political policing, when men of a certain demographic are let off when they act up or aren't immediately identified when suspected of a crime and are arrested. Whereas white working class men and women are accused of being far-right thugs, arrested, tried and imprisoned just for tweeting a hurty post on X. As a veteran, I'm enraged by the way our country is being turned into a third world shithole, with nobody in authority doing what's needed to honour the men and women that fought so hard and paid the ultimate price to ensure we could live in a democratic country and enjoy the freedoms that we're entitled to. If you're an immigrant arriving on a small boat, you're given everything your heart desires. Evidence now shows if you desire something else, you can just take it and a blind eye will be turned. This of course includes goods from shops, but it also includes the young white women and girls on our streets. A lot is being spoken about the Russians attacking this country, either now by way of cyber or in the future in a more physical way. And now that Iran is in the picture, maybe they'll also orchestrate attacks within the UK by way of vengeance for the country's support as a NATO ally of Israel. Of course, the politicians say we're not at war, when we already are. And we're only supporting the Ukraine and Israel because it's the decent thing to do, they'll say. However, Sir Keir Starmer has already placed us on a war footing and has hinted at the need for F-35A fighter aircraft with a nuclear payload capability, in addition to offering up boots on the ground in defence of the Ukraine. I'm not alone in my concern. Talk to any veteran soldiers or officers and they will say they're more or less on the same page. The enemy is likely already here in the UK by way of sleeper cells, disguised as asylum seekers and arriving on small boats. In addition, 45,000 of these asylum seekers have gone missing. Who knew? Can our security services and systems even see, track, identify and flag these risks? Now, if these sleeper cells exist, and they do, what is likely to happen when they're woken up and activated? What will be their order of battle, if you like? Firstly, the communication network is likely to be affected, so cell phone towers, internet, TV. Electricity substations will be targeted, as one near Heathrow Airport was just a few weeks ago. Or was that a false flag? Perhaps save that for another day. Transport is likely to be affected, including road, rail, sea and air. Fuel stations and refineries are likely to become targets, and this of course will affect the supply chain, so no food in the shops. Water treatment plants could be targeted or poisoned, so no water. Imagine the scenario. You're at home, no electricity, no heating, no TV, no food or water, and no communication with the outside world. Women and children, and in some cases men, will be too afraid to go outside for fear of violence, rape, sexual assault, or worse, if that's possible. The police won't be there for you. They won't stand. They'll fall. Our current military is made up of a generation with no deployment experience or combat experience. It's a woke military that can't even guard an operational airfield against lefty activists. Nationally, we're in a perilous condition. So the question I posed, are you prepared to stand, fight and protect your loved ones and neighbours, isn't a hypothetical question. It's not if, but when. And when is now. If you're a veteran, start organising within your local community. Start forming up. Educate them in the basics of survival. Where do they go for assistance? Who do they ask? I'm not a prepper as such, but consider watching a few prepping type videos on YouTube. A little bit of knowledge is better than none. If you're a farmer, consider forming an alliance with the veterans. The government treats us all like shite, so we may as well unite. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be scared, but be ready, be prepared. Think like Churchill. His policy was to fight and not surrender. There's more videos to come in this Stand, Fight, Protect series, where I'll explain false flags, hybrid warfare, proxy war, and a whole lot more. Be safe, hope for the best, but always prepare for the worst.